Eric Harley here from the Midnight Trucking Radio Network. I am joined right now by my friend Ray Abrahamson from Anti-Monkey Butt Powder. Ray, how are you?
Good morning, Eric.
It's great to see you. This is a great way to start this show. I love talking about this product. Everyone hears me endorse this product, but I want you to talk about it because you're the expert here. First of all, let's tell our listeners, what is Anti-Monkey Butt Powder?
Well, it's a body powder that combines talcum and calamine.
Yeah.
And the talcum actually absorbs perspiration.
Right.
And the calamine relieves itching and chafing that you get from sweaty skin rubbing together. You
know, it's interesting because over the years, as a runner, I've been running on and off since 1991. I took some downtime because of a back injury, but for the most part, I jog on a regular basis. I'm out there 3-5 days a week, whatever I can fit in, and I'm out there quite a bit. And especially in the season, and we're going to talk about the season in just a moment. In the season in Texas, it is hot, and you just can't do anything about it. You're going to sweat if you go outside for anything, even the slightest activity, maybe just even a quick walk, you're going to start sweating. That leads to the itching and the chafing. And, of course, our drivers know about this all too well. Let's talk about this, what sets Anti-Monkey Butt Powder apart from the brands. That is the calamine powder. Am I correct?
That is absolutely true. This is the only product with calamine. And when you think about sitting in a truck all day, and there are other names for monkey butt. We won't talk about those right now.
But,
it's very uncomfortable. And other products just have talcum powder or cornstarch, which absorbs the perspiration but does nothing for the chafing. That's
the whole point. You want to get into taking care of that pain, that discomfort, because you're dealing with it. And here's the problem is drivers, let's face it, they sit for a living. So you get out, especially our flatbedders, they get out, those guys who are hauling flatbed, they're running and then they're working, they work harder outside that truck than they do inside that truck. Then they have to get in and sit down for hours at a time, 11 hours a day sometimes. That becomes very, very uncomfortable.
And the skin, where the sun doesn't shine, is more sensitive. So when you think about having the skin rubbing, it gets very painful and it's very tender.
Yeah, because the talc can dry, and drying is a big part of it, but the calamine is what soothes that discomfort.
It sure does, and it's in the monograph, it's called an anti-itch and anti-chafing skin protectant.
Yeah.
And we're the only ones that have it.
Well, it's the only thing that worked for me. You know what I didn't understand? And at first I thought it was a cruel joke. One of the other products, I didn't know this until after I felt it, has menthol.
Oh, yeah. When you have irritated skin,
that's the last thing you want.
Oh, it burns like crazy.
It does. It is just, and I'll tell you, I really love this product. And the first time I saw it was at the Great American Trucking Show in Dallas years ago, and that's when I started using it. And I've been telling friends and family about this for years, and I'll continue to talk about any great product that has helped me along the way. But let's talk about that name, Monkey Butt. Where'd that name come from, Anti-Monkey Butt Powder?
Well, the people that developed it, Andy and Parker, they are dirt bike riders.
Right.
And motorcycle riders have the denim rubbing against the inner thigh, which is very tender skin.
Yeah.
And nothing worked.
Right.
So they went to Parker's dad, who's a scientist, and they concocted this formula with calamine, and it worked. Yeah. And they experimented with various levels of calamine, and here we are.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing about the name. You think about men buying body powder.
Right.
And you get a disconnect.
Sure.
It just seems like a feminine type purchase.
Right.
And that name gives men permission to buy the product as a joke.
Well, because we own it. And that's the thing. When you guys gave me a bottle years ago, and I took it home, and I've been buying it ever since. But you do have that sense of ownership with a great name like that. Us guys can go into the hardware store, wherever we find it, Walmart, it's all over the place, and we grab that bottle. We got a great email from a listener named John, and John was... He says, I set out on a mission to go find some anti-monkey butt powder, Eric, after I heard you talking about it. My family thought I was crazy. They didn't know what I was talking about. So I get to the store, and then after a couple of confused faces, he comes across it on the shelf, and he felt redeemed on a couple of levels because he showed it to his family, and they were all just excited about it. But then he knew that it was going to work because he heard us talking about it. And again, it goes back to having a great product as far as the marketing is concerned, but also it's got to be effective. Because the first time I saw it, I have to tell you, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking anti-monkey butt powder, that's to get the attention. Who knows if it works? And sure enough, the first time I tried it, I knew I was hooked. I knew I was going to be using that because it was working.
And it's true. Our biggest selling season is actually Christmas.
Wow, yeah.
People buy it as a stocking stuffer, and it's
the smiles on Christmas morning.
You
I
bet.
can imagine.
And everybody thinks it's a joke, but once they use the product, they come back. And you talked about joggers. People put it in the sneakers in addition to the areas that rub.
I have done that. And what's interesting is that you don't realize what your feet are going through until you get a little comfort there, and that's been terrific for me, because one of the things you have to realize as a runner, if you're running every day, your shoes are going to retain some of that moisture even 24 hours later. So you want to make sure that you're drying that up, but you also want to make sure that your feet are comfortable. And I do have chafing on the edges of my toes. I have chafing, on sometimes on the ankle or just below the ankle, and that soothes it right away. I don't have to worry about it.
Staying dry and comfortable is the name of the game.
It really is.